What's up, guys? Today we're doing a one disc challenge. So all three of us are going to be throwing just one disc the whole round, and we'll see what we're all throwing. Collin, what are you throwing?
I'm throwing the trace.
Goody, what are you throwing?
Rock X3.
I am throwing a just plain old DX Rock.
Hole 1 is a 225-foot flex shot, as you see Collin trying to do. He just lofted it a little too high and ended into the right side. You want to flex a shot through the gap that Michael is hitting with a nice overstable disc. I do not have that, so I'm trying to throw my rock on a turnover and just throw it first available. Absolutely awful. Now trying to save myself. Trying to throw a flick through the gap and just turned it over, but I'm in the open again, which is a good spot. Michael for his birdie with his Rock X3 just off the top. Trying to save my par with the rock and just bang it. That felt great to save my par with. This is where Collin landed, as you can see, just a little too far in the trees, and that was for his birdie off the top of the cage. Both Michael and Collin will be tapping in their pars.
All threes.
Even through one for all. Hole 2 is 323 feet. You can either throw a big old flick through the gap that these guys are going through. As you can see, Michael pretty much do perfectly, just a little short. I do not think I can turn my rock over that well, so I'm trying to take the just hyzer gap and hope I get lucky and get as far as I can. Got kicked down a little bit, but we'll see how the upshot goes. Collin just throws his trace into the ground and gets a big skip. And here I am trying to save myself from the trees and probably have the greatest Annie approach shot I've ever thrown with my rock. Michael for his 2. Not many people to this hole, so that would have been awesome if he could have 2'd it with just the Rock X3 alone. Collin trying to tap in his par, and he just doesn't get it, so he is +1. As you can see, Michael and I land literally in the same spot. We tap in our pars. We are even, and Collin is 1 over. Hole 3 is a 212-foot, pretty much straight shot. You can either shoot a nice forehand in there, or you might have the chance of hitting the trees on the right or the left, or you can throw a backhand. And I threw a little flex, ended up just a little long of the basket. Again, there's branches on that side as well. Collin also will be going with the flick and just didn't flex it like he usually does. Threw in a hyzer. It's a little short. Michael is about where you usually land if you do hit one of the trees, and hits metal again. That is 3 metal in a row for his birdie. Just cannot connect. And Collin for his also hits the cage. And I am trying to hit my birdie, and I get it. And I do not know what Collin was doing here. I am sorry for that. Michael taps in his par. Hole 4 is 231 feet straight ahead with a lot of trees on your left. I just absolutely turn over my rock. Michael makes the correction with a nice overstable disc, hits the slope, and goes right next to the basket. Collin with his trace. It's a tough shot for him, as he can't really backhand and does about as good as he can.
Yep.
My approach shot, a little tricky as it's up and then down, and relatively close, but I'll have a nice look my par. Collin for his birdie just throws it past the basket, gets a little reaction off the ground. I tap in my par. Michael for his first birdie of the day, no issues. And Collin just misses, and he'll take a bogey. Scores are now: Michael is now -1, I am -1, and Collin is +2. Hole 5 is 285 feet, pretty much the exact same shot, just further. Michael turns it over a little bit more, and then I just do the exact same shot as the last one, and again, I'm on the other side of the railroad tracks. Collin again trying to make that weird shot for him, but just turns it over, and he'll have a tricky approach. If you're in these trees, luckily he's in some fresh cut ones that I've never seen before, but usually you get pretty badly hurt from in there, but he'll still probably take a bogey. And I'm throwing my approach shot, and I just launch it. That was crazy awful. Collin with his approach shot, and Michael for his 2, just in front of the basket, right next to it. I am trying to save my par.
Yeah, you're good.
Pretty tricky shot. And I just hit it right off the cage for my first bogey of the day. Collin, ooh, that's a double bogey for him.
Yeah.
I am now even. Collin is +4, and Goody is -1. Hole 6 is 249 feet. Pretty straight shot. You have one tree on your right and 2 trees on your left. Michael just turns his over, and I turn mine over a little bit, so I'm on the right side, but I'm further down, and Collin turns his over to the left side as well. That is the tricky play with the flick. Collin's approach. Great approach, right next to the basket. Michael's birdie attempt, right in front of the basket. My approach, or birdie attempt, and I tried jumping with a rock, which was not smart. I have this comebacker, and I just lofted off the top. And be looking at 2 bogeys in a row. Collin taps in his par. I get my bogey, and Michael gets his par. Hole 7 is 221 feet straight ahead. Michael's throwing his rock just far right. Collin turns over his trace a little bit too much and hits the tree on the left. I try to make the correction. Throw my rock nice and straight. Just a little low, but not too bad. Collin trying to have a nice little approach shot. And throws it about as good as you can right off the cage. Great shot, Collin. Michael for his birdie just off the cage. A lot of those today for Michael. I hit my birdie. Both Michael and Collin tap in their pars. Hole 8 is 244 feet. You can either go the way I went with a nice low, straight backhand, or the way Michael's going, try to go around with a forehand. And then Collin is also trying to do that way, but he just cuts it off and goes through the middle with the flick, and that's the issue with throwing the flick through the middle. You might get a little skip with the downhill on the right side. And Michael's approach. Collin's trying to get something going. First birdie of the day, and it's a great one at that. I'm trying to tie things up, and I get it. And tying things up, going into 9. Both Goody and I are at -1, and Collin is at +4. Hole 9 is 242 feet. You have trees on your whole right side. You can either throw a backhand turnover or a forehand hyzer. Either way, it has to be low with the branches on top.
That's pretty good.
Both Michael and I are down there. He is a little long. I'm a little short. Collin with his upshot. Let's see if I can hit it. I gave it a shot. Just hit the top band. Michael for the win. And does the exact same thing. And Collin just trying to end his day nicely with a par. Both of us tapping our pars, and we're going to overtime. We're back on hole 1. I try to make the correction, which I do, but turned it over just a little too much. We'll see what I have when I'm in there. Michael doing the exact same thing as last time. Nice little safety shot. Michael's birdie attempt. Just misses. As you can see, there's a guy right through the trees. I didn't really know what to do. He was kind of in my way, and he's still in the way in the shot, so I had to do a weird little shot there. As you can see, you'll see where I ended up because I had to throw my forehand on even more Annie. Ended up getting a bad roll. And then my putt was bad. And Michael for the win. No issues. Congrats, Michael. See you guys next time. Like and subscribe.